Think we're live.
Yeah, are we live? Okay.
Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. Today is August 13th, 2015, and we are here with lovely Adriana.
Hi,
And
everyone.
yes, and this is our first live broadcast. And Adriana wants to introduce herself, maybe go into how her connections are and how she's starting to channel, open up. So this is wonderful. And the floor is yours, Adriana.
Thank you. So basically, just a little background. I'm from Venezuela, and I grew up in a very Catholic family. And I went to school in a very Opus Dei, part of the Catholic section, which is very extremist. And throughout my childhood, I had, my mentor was my grandmother. She was very religious, but my parents were very spiritual. So I experienced the extreme side of religion, and by the age of 12 to 14, I just had a breakthrough with my mom. She got really sick, and they started practicing all kinds of medicines and holistic medicine and meditation. And I saw how meditation actually can help cure disease because I saw it in my mother when I was 14. And that inspired me to start meditating and practicing along with my parents. So we started having family get-togethers where we review every single religion and kind of take on what we wanted or resonated with. And from that moment on, everything pretty much changed in my family dynamic. So everybody was pretty much free to speak and to believe whatever they felt resonated with them. So from that moment on, I started meditating. I went to several meditation centers in outside of when I was in Venezuela, outside of Venezuela. Um, the longest time I stayed in one, I was about 18 years old, and I stayed for about a month and a half. And my experience in there was very enlightening. I actually got to share some of the time with people that call themselves the enlightened ones, just people that are, they're fully awakened to the ultimate truth, which is that everything is love. And I experienced just looking into their eyes and seeing this light and this happiness. And for a moment, I just wanted to stay there and just become one of those people. And I had to go back to my life. But at that moment, I would never forget. I shared with people that they were drug addicts. I shared with people that they were committed to change their life and turn around. I shared time with people that were in wheelchairs, and by the time I left, they were starting to walk. So it really made an impact on how meditation and how just your connection within can change your world. And then from that moment on, I moved to the States. I went to school, and I remember I used to cheat on my exams, but not like you're thinking cheating. It's just because I knew that because I was aware and I was practicing some kind of meditation, I would get more enlightened into like what the answers were, or or I remember the time I needed to come back to the moment where I needed to answer that question. So I started using my meditation for creativity and for school. And after that, I moved to New York, and I got away from it a little bit until I reached to a point that you create. Once you start, you can never really go back. There's no such thing as going back in evolution, especially in consciousness. So I think that I created myself some very a stressful situation where I just needed to come back and look inside. So at that moment, I wasn't really feeling very full with the practices and meditation that I was doing for the longest time. I felt like I needed to move on. So I started trying different types of things, yoga and psychics. And I went to a million different events, just searching for something that clicked. And I just I was looking on the internet about, I was always very fascinated. My mom was the one that got me into like the aliens and UFOs and stuff like that. So for some reason, I just started Googling, and I step into the Billy Mayer um, story. And I remember I've heard of him from other friends, but I wasn't really into it. So at this point, I started listening to all the tapes, all the recordings. I started reading about it. I had this pretty boring job at the time where I would be sitting in an office, so I would just be YouTubing all day long while I was working. So I had like the intensive of, and that happened for 6 months. So I got to learn from everything. And from that point on, there was a stage in the Billy Mayer tape where he's having a conversation with the being called herself Simyasi, and he's saying something to her. And for me, it, it seemed like I was there. It didn't seem like a deja vu of me listening to it. It seemed like I had been there, and I already knew what the words from his mouth were gonna come out. And by the time the tape and he said it, I'm like, there's gotta be something. And at that moment, synchronistically, um, I haven't spoken to this friend for a while, and something like you have to call him. And I call my friend Victor, and he's like, I have a friend that she's in contact with Pleiadians, and maybe she can help you. And this friend happens to be Montserrat.
Ah,
And immediately, I am like, I want to meet her. I have so much questions, and like, I need to, get it all clear.
yeah,
Um, so I scheduled a session with her, and she's been the one that's been, kind of reassuring that relationship I have with Siyasi, and she's been the one kind of guiding me towards my very initial stage of this path. By the way, it's 11:11.
yes. This is the core of it. This is like, I love it how you're just sharing your story and you're being vulnerable. I love it, because you're just down to earth. You're telling it just like it is, and it's flowing. And this is really neat because it's that connection. When you can feel that, I mean, especially with the connection that you have, and it's like a really strong connection with Samyazi. And it's
Yeah,
almost like it's when you follow the synchronicity and Montserrat and you connect like that, that's
yeah.
that's verification. Yes.
It is. But you know how we are. We're always in our minds, and we always are questioning whether we're making it up or not. So it wasn't enough with Montserrat. I had to like go to different types of channelers and mediums just to get that confirmation, because when you get introduced, and this is something that a lot of people share with her too, that because that was such a big deal back in the 70s, everybody got to know her name. So you don't really think that you're probably just, your mind is like tricking you that you're making it up, because that couldn't be like you get like starstruck in a bit, like alien starstruck. So that happened to me. But then it wasn't only with Tibiasi. I believe because of my Pleiadian connections, I started talking to more beings, and I started meeting my other family in Pleiades. Um, there's another, and I want to share their names, but this is another friend that helped from Pleiades. Her name is Adami, and she was initially there. I also got to see Fatah, um, I think twice or three, yeah,
Quetzal?
3 times.
Quetzal? Is there another one?
Um,
I
it's
know in the
not.
Billy Meyer story, there was a couple others when Billy was like 5. It was Quetzal, I think is his name. There's another one. It's Ptah's father, I think, or
Yeah,
Semyazi's.
Fatah's, it's Sinya's father. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, and I got to see when you're researching, I was like, and like I need to know everything. So there's actually someone, I don't remember her name. I'm really really terrible with names, but there's someone in Australia that actually channels Fatah.
Okay.
Um, you know,
And
if
there's
I
Ask It.
ask it too, yeah.
Yes.
There, and then at that point, I ran into somebody else that channels Sunyasi, but she doesn't do it publicly. She
Yes.
does it. She has a website. Her name is Marianne Rada, and she channels different types. She channels Ask It. She channels her Pleiadian, or I think it's her Pleiadian self. I don't remember her name. And then she also channels Sunyasi. So she basically she does more in like readings, and she writes a lot, and she does like YouTube videos of messages, but she doesn't. She's not like a trans or conscious channeler like publicly.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Do you feel like Samyazi wants to really be on video now, just to show the connection through you, um, through through videos, to bring her more
I feel
present?
like that's a possibility,
Mhm.
and it would depend maybe on my excitement. I
Yes.
think that it could be there. Um, so yeah, it could happen.
Cool.
Um, what I'm, after that, just to kind of continue the story,
Yes.
I also got to meet with Ashtar
Oh, from the Ashtar community.
from
Yes.
the Ashtar command. In fact, I
Yes.
channeled him once in a channeling class here in New York,
Yeah.
and it was like a trance channeling, and at some point the energy became so much, and it was so high that I started shaking, and it was very like terrifying because for at some reason I felt I was just gonna lift myself from the floor, and the teacher had to like put like hold me in the chair, and he's like, you need to like relax and allow it,
Yes.
and by the end of the class he's like, don't do it alone, please. I'm like, but I want to continue, experiencing this. So I had many interactions with him too, and people from that ship and from the command.
Yes.
And I also had, I wouldn't call it negative, but I had like, encounters with beings that were not so much from light. And that really reflected my fear towards accepting duality and
Yes.
towards accepting that they reflect the light back. you know and I would share something that Roxy always says, that you have to love them, and that's the only way I got through the fear, by loving them. So they did share some of their perspective, and the one that really stuck in my head is that um, this is a game, and at some point I had the light and the dark, and I'm in the middle, and they're like, you need to pick, and I'm like, I don't want to pick. So they made up their case, and that's what they said. Like, this is a game, and we are unconditional love, and because we are taking the role of the bad ones, we're taking the hardest role of being hated, or representing those energies. We love you even more. That's why we want you to join us. And I'm like, I appreciate that perspective. And that gave me a lot of insight of not to judge, or not to be scared of it. Because at the end of the day, it's a representation of love. So that was very interesting too.
Yes. It's yeah. That's definitely why we're here. Is all. It really comes back to love. You're right. It's all about how we love ourselves and how we share with everyone else. So it's wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
um,
yeah, my next confirmation was from well, Roxy also used confirmed it. But I think the major one was Brad Johnson. And Jim also, at the very beginning, I asked for it too. I was always asking about her.
yes.
Um, and, it was Brad Johnson that actually told me that we're gonna, we've been together. And that confirmation, I got it from Marianne Rada, that we've had lifetimes of Pleiadians together, and me been on a ship with her and stuff like that. Um, but Brad basically said that in this lifetime, if it's my highest assignment, she's going to be the one helping me creating, like with the clothing for the future, raising awareness of the clothing. I'm a fashion designer, and the interesting thing is that ever since I was in school, I've always been I gravitated towards doing something that was avant-garde and futuristic. So I was always thinking about how the clothing of the future was going to look, space clothing and stuff like that. When
Yes.
he mentioned it, it kind of like wow, that's actually she's been the one plugging those ideas into my head for the longest time, which is that was like okay, it is true. She's there, and and I've spoken to her from time to time, but I was always doubting, the message
Because you
with
kept
her.
thinking it was more your mind. Just
Yeah,
so you're carrying a conversation within your mind, but you're not sure if it's
yeah,
yeah, if it's more you. That's interesting. Yes.
yeah. And then the latest thing is that I had a session with Jim,
Yes.
and I asked for him to channel her. And previously, I had asked her to come through Jim because I wanted that confirmation. So I guess she agreed, and we channeled her for a little bit, not too long, but it was what I needed, and basically gave me that confirmation. Um, Most of the stuff that it's crazy because some of the stuff that the Jim or she would say the gym was stuff that I was previously having a conversation in my head. Like, there's no way that he could have known that.
Yes.
The
Yes.
clothing and like this, and she wouldn't get into much detail because she said she's gonna do that with me, um, like a one-on-one. But it was very impressive. So from that moment, I felt the connection was stronger because I was letting my doubts. After that, I'm like, okay, I got it.
That's beautiful. Now, on top of that, have you seen any of the lights in the sky, the ships, to give any other confirmations?
I've shared. I've seen two. Well, I've actually seen a couple more. When I'm in Montserrat, physically, for some reason, we see ships or lights. Um, I think she's surrounded by them a lot. But this was recently, about like 3 weeks ago. I was in Wisconsin, and I was filming this, airplane, military, and instead of filming that, there's this blue light that was just like, oh, and then it moved and disappeared. And I got it on film, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then I was at the museum here in New York, and I was taking pictures, and I was taking pictures of the ceiling, and that same blue light appeared again
Wow.
inside of the museum, which
Wow.
was very impressive. And after that, the pictures came out to be like rainbows and like beautiful colors. And I mean, I can share it afterwards. It's very, very, very beautiful. So that was like, wow, another.
So those give you the confirmations, which is really nice because you have more of a physical evidence a little bit just to confirm that something's there for you.
Yeah,
Yes, that's beautiful.
yeah,
Now, which way? That's the thing. Is now it's she's more. You still there?
yeah. I'm here.
Okay, I'm getting a little feedback here, glitchy. Okay. Um, what is it now that she wants to really convey through you? Is she really now wanting you to go more public? Is she? What do you feel that's? Is it still making that early stages of connection, or do you feel more like she could really come through you now?
Right now, I feel that it's like the earliest stages. I
Okay.
still feel that.
Okay.
And she's there, but I feel it's more on a personal way that
Yeah.
I still need to move forward towards transformation. Like in my personal life, I've been changing so much that it's like getting that stability for myself,
Yes.
so that connection can be stronger.
Ah. Okay.
But she's there, like I know she's there.
Yes. So were you? when someone
I
asks a
believe
question,
she's on my right.
ah, so if I asked
That's
the
where I
question,
hear her.
if I asked a question, so she's there, she could hear me.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay. I see. It's more of yes, on your shoulder. So
Yeah.
it's like if you say something, you wait for a second, get the information, and
Yep.
then so it's more of a conscious channel then, right now.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, and can you describe that to for the viewers? What how that connection right now so far, how what the process is or how that happens with you.
Well, sometimes it just happens naturally. Um, this one time I was in the train and she come on like knock the book. And I'm like, who's there? Hey, it's me. I'm like, no way. It's really you. So then we started talking and like there's a sound or something. I woke up or because I was in meditation and I'm like, oh, okay, she's gone. Um, And about 2 weeks ago, after I had that session with Jim, I was really re-energized, and she was like, "You should definitely write every day messages." So I started writing off messages. I haven't really kept it on a daily basis, but I have. And for example, in about a week, no, 3 weeks ago, I had another practice channeling session with Sakura. So she was able to come through as a like how I don't know if you say trance channeling, conscious channeling.
Yeah, like the conscious.
However Jim does it.
Yeah, yeah, that's more of a deep state trance, like a more like he's really letting go and allowing them to come through and speak.
Right.
And then like a semi state or what you call conscious state would be more like I think it's more like you're waiting, you hear the information,
Yes.
and then you speak it.
Yeah, but for example, we used to have chats before about her, remember? And
Yes.
if you ask me a question, I know she's getting it, so she will give me the answer, and that's why I was able to like relay back to you that information. So that also happened.
Okay. Let's go. You want to go into it a little now?
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Greetings, Brian.
Greetings. This is Samyaze.
Yes.
How would you like to introduce yourself? What would you like to be referred as? Just Samyaze? Samyaze?
Yes, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is an honor. I've been wanting to talk with you and with the Pleiadian energy for quite some time now.
I am aware of this, and I am happy that we are able to speak at this time in this now.
Yes, so many questions, but I want to keep it more general for the benefit of those that will be viewing later. What would you like to begin with?
I'd like to share a message of love and unity. Give me 1 minute.
Yes.
I want to tell you that we've been working for eons and eons of time to help humanity in this new age of awareness. This work that you might know started with Willie Mayer. It really started way before that. We feel our deepest love because we're like brothers. We might share some of our looks, but we come from the same source. We are here to serve, and by all means, we don't want to be named or adored or even Star Trek like Adriana said. In fact, we admire your courage for stepping into this mission of self-discovery, for believing in yourself that you could go through all these changes, through all this darkness, for teaching us how to accept duality and how to live with it. You're on the greatest mission to help this universe ascend and be more of source. You're not aware of this because you're always in your mind, judging, analyzing, blocking the energy that we all give you. We're here constantly sending energy to help you in your process. We've helped with climate change, we've helped with energy advancements, we've helped by being the conduit to provide the miracles of every day happen. We're here to serve, and we love you unconditionally. We are the same. There's no right or wrong. There's no good and bad. There's only love. There's only experience. There is challenge, but that makes you stronger. That makes you want to go in more. That makes you and catapults different set of situations for you to give more, to give yourself more, to love yourself more. Everybody has to do their work. And it starts with you, one at a time. It starts with light, starts with love and transformation, and a willingness to let go. Let go of those systems, all those belief systems that used to work in the past for a purpose. But they're changing, times are changing. Prepare yourself for what's coming. And the only way you can do that is by loving yourself unconditionally. I know it's challenging. Myself, from my experience of sharing with you, I share so much love for all the times you didn't love yourself, you didn't accomplish what you set up to, for all the times you hate, for all the times you cried, for all the sad situations in your life. I have been there watching. I have been there waiting and sending my love. I have been there for the good times also. I have been there laughing. You are so beautiful. Thank you. I have to thank you.
Thank you. This is very interesting, this connection. Even for myself, have a memory of being on the ships, the starships, well, and some of the beam ships, which you're very familiar with.
Yes,
Yes.
we are. In reference to that, you humans have a tendency to believe that everything that pops into your mind, it's a part of your imagination. What you don't realize is that the imagination is the tool that connects you to other realms, that connects you to other lives, that connects you to other parallels existences. You doubt of this because you think it's something you made up in your mind, when it's not. If you have a vision, if you have a feeling, an instinct, just feel that. That's your other self talking to you. Believe it. Don't doubt it.
Yes, that makes more sense. It's like all our thoughts are there within the soup of the multiverse. And it's like there's really no random thought. It's like it's all interconnected, you know? It's like we're sharing these ideas with everyone. And we tap into those imaginations are just extensions of ourselves. We're tapping in and connecting with so many different possibilities and sources that it seems like it's endless, it's limitless.
Just like the cosmos.
Yeah. The the beam ships from the Billy Meyer story. I love. I've heard so many stories. It's my excitement. You know, I know um, uh, in the dream time that we travel, astral travel, making the connections. with the beam ships and with other ships and other races out there. One of my excitements is to physically come on board one of the Pleiadian beam ships. Physically, not just in the astral, but because I want to use my five senses in my physical being like I am now, which I see, hear, smell, touch, taste. I want to be able to fully integrate that experience and have a physical experience in my lifetime. Doesn't mean now, but when the time is right, I do believe in my lifetime, I would like to have that opportunity.
I would love you to have you on my ship. One advice I can give you is that you can make a connection in astral projection, and you can allow for the mind and the brain. The brain is it's the most beautiful and amazing part of your body that it's in charge of creating pretty much everything in your reality. And I believe it has a part of our consciousness. And whenever you make the intention that you want to come up on the ship, make also the intention that you want to have those physical senses, emotions, taste, smell, right in your physical body. It is
Yes.
really not necessary for you to physically be on the ship to have that experience. Your connection in the astral body can be as real as in the 3D physicality.
Yeah, that was the correlation. It just sometimes as humans, we feel that in the astral, it's not as powerful as in the physical because it's kind of quasi, it's the sensories kind of, there's like an amnesia, a blockage sometimes, either we place on ourselves or from other outside sources to really physically have that experience. So many want that, to be able to physically hug you, to physically give you a handshake, to physically, we miss those connections. We miss
That
as humans. Many of us miss that.
you might be missing it, but I'm feeling it's more there's a lack of trust that it's actually happening because you can't touch it.
Ah,
And
okay.
and I can share some of Adriana's experiences with other Pleiadians and even myself, where she has felt the hug of her sister from Pleiades in her physical form.
Wow.
And it's because she was there entirely at that moment and let go completely of the expectation that needed to happen physically.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So that's part of the blockage, the lack of trust that you could feel it, that it could happen, even if you can't see it, even if you can't be there physically. You know it's there. We know we're here.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that now. It's more of a, it's like we say we want it sometimes, but do we really are ready for it? It's the trusting. That's right. It comes down to trust.
Yes.
Yeah, my own experiences, it's fascinating. Walking the decks, up and down the hallways, what we would call them, on the ships, on the outside, looking out into space. There's like this field that you can't fall into space, but it's like there's like a force field, and we can see it, other beings and ships going to and fro into the mothership. It's so fascinating. The remembrance, I get glimpses of that, and it's exciting. It's but I guess as for the human, sometimes I feel like if we really experience that more 3D, none of us would want to return home or return to the planet. You know what I mean? We want to be out there where we feel we're more connected with, but on Earth we feel limited. We feel that we can't enjoy those things as we did when we are other beings on other worlds, on the ships.
There's a sense of limitation within Earth that
Yeah.
gives you that perspective. But if you were allowed to do that, yes, that could happen. And you miss the whole point of stay grounded and finding yourself.
Yes, the duality. That's true.
But I believe you've been on a, no, I don't know if recently, I know you have been on the on the colonies, but for some reason, I think you've been on a serious, like on a serious ship, named
Yes, it feels familiar. Yes. Syrian. Yes.
Syrian. Yes.
Hmm. Yes. I guess I could go into the details of those, but it's okay. I'll save it for another time. The Earth and how we are transforming, how we are evolving as humans. What the average human doesn't recognize or realize that we are all really star seeds ourselves. That we have all been these other races and the hybridizations through the centuries. We all have these different DNA strands within us and how we're connected with everything. It's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah. What do you feel from the Pleiadian perspective, from your civilization? What is so unique and magnificent about the human being at this time and its creation now? What do you feel? What brings you joy about the human evolving? What is it that draws you as the Pleiadians here to Earth?
You know, we went through a similar situation. We went through a similar course of evolution. And you guys are experiencing the biggest amount of density and duality that we have ever seen. And the fact that you can still find some peace, you can still evolve from it, you can still have breakthroughs, it's astonishing.
Yes.
It's so impressive the way you react to certain situations. Um, when you're on the fifth dimension, there's just light. We have bodies, we have life, we have families, but we experience unconditional love at every moment. Um,
Is it more spiritual than in nature where you're at? In your
no, it's physical.
Yes.
My connection with Adriana, it's more telepathic,
Ah, okay.
and I'm here right now with her.
Yes.
But it's we have physical bodies. We have, like I said, we have a planet. We have families.
Yes, so in the 4 and 5th dimension or 5D density, it's like more lighter. So your particles and how your creation or how you evolve, it's the density is lighter, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's why it's almost instantaneous. Weird, interesting. I'm talking about the physics.
Manifestation is instantaneous.
Okay.
Yes.
And how you travel as a civilization is amazing. Your mind capacity, how you use your own minds to direct, project.
Ships.
Yes, how it's interconnected with you being you're interconnected to the ships. Is there an AI, a computer, like a high nanotechnology type component to it? Is it artificial intelligence? Yeah. Can you explain that?
Well, there's two things to it. There is some artificial intelligence, but there's also we've had, from the time that you might be familiar with what I explained to Billy Mayer. From that time, our ships were, evolved from being controlled. It's still being controlled with the senses and the mind, but we got some help from the Arcturian and also the Andromedan civilization. And
Yes.
and our ships evolved more into, there's a combination of both. There's a connection with the auric field of the person that's driving the ship,
Yeah.
and the intention. Um, we're also learning, some of the techniques that Bashar has explained, where they pretty much teleport themselves to anywhere else they stop existing.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but there's both intelligence, artificial intelligence, and technology that evolved and were helped and provided from the Andromedan and the
October.
Arcturus
Yes.
civilization. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I am always fascinated sometimes about the science behind it. It's beautiful. It's how the spiritual and the manifested spiritual connects with the artificial physical. You know what I mean? It's, I mean, it's all I guess we can all look at it as light particles and how it moves. Really, all spiritual anyway. But how you break down these different, uh,
Molecules.
yeah, the holographic images and how you can project that and move through time and space. It's beautiful.
And you will get there in approximately 200 years.
Yeah, I was thinking about 150 to 200 years start really venturing out into space. It's going to take some time for the average human to be able to do that. First, sure, the governments, the military will start first, but yet, and already have to some degree, but
But I
yet,
believe before that there will be first contact.
that's
And
what I was
people
going to
that
say.
might want to go on the ships, hopefully they're allowed to come in the
I
ship.
believe, I do feel inside within the next 30 years, 20 to 30 years, that there will be those that will be more allowed to take the rides on the ship physically.
I'll say 50.
50? Oh man, it's pushing it too far. I hope I'm still alive then.
There's a lot of things that need to happen before we get to that point.
Yes.
Um, I believe you're going to have first contact on Earth, um, and there's a lot of training, a lot of knowledge. People need to be more aware and understanding of the past, and
Yes.
there's got to be a lot of transformation within, the human collective,
Yes.
um, for the allowance and of time travel or space travel to happen.
Yes. Um, the races around you that are in cooperation in working with the benefit of Earth, for the benefit of Earth's ascension, um, who are your strongest allies? Can you name some of those races?
We work along Star Command.
Okay.
Um, we're kind of separate from that. We're still part of the alliance.
Yes.
Um,
But you do things more your way, in a way that's
yes,
unique and different, that assist. But is it?
we're part of a League of Light collective, and Marianne Rada will definitely has more information about who we are as a collective and a team. Um, but I definitely work mostly on my side. We cooperate with different councils and alliances, but personally, I've been working with the human collective for thousands of years.
Wow. So um, your energy the energy that which you are can rejuvenate your species, at least your race, has mastered through the crystal chambers. Do you just rejuvenate through these crystal chambers? How do you rejuvenate your bodies then to live even longer?
Well, our lifespans are longer.
Yes,
They
yes.
go about 2,000 years.
Like the Nordics. So you'd be
Yes,
connected with them. Yes, the tall
yes,
blondes.
yes.
Wow. I
Um, I believe right now I am about 733 years old.
wow. Wow. So that would be considered middle age?
Yeah,
Wow.
middle age.
The motherships, do you visit very often or are you mostly in the scout ships traveling?
We visit them often. Yes, that's where my family is.
Yes. Interesting.
And we often go to Era
Yes,
or
tell me
other
about that.
planets in the Pleiades constellation.
Yes.
Um,
Like an
yeah,
average.
we're allowed to do that. Um,
Now, the time difference, the time dilation, the time difference between how we measure time, just for an Earth person, what we call human. How do you say? We have our 24-hour period rotation of the planet. Um, for you, because you live so long, the ages you live so long or longer. Um, do you view time? It's almost like the ships can take you from here to there very quickly. And you've mastered this, and also you've had help, I believe. Was it with the time traveling take or the combination of how you can move the ship so quickly? You guys had also assistance from what the
Another
Timmers?
universe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another universe, the Dal universe.
the Timbers. Yeah.
The Timmers. Wow, and that's where Asket's from.
Yes, that's where she's from.
Beautiful, beautiful. Are those talked about in the Billy Meyer story? Are they still at this point? Because that was back in the 60s and 70s, according to Earth history. Are they still involved with Earth or separate in different sectors of the universe?
They're in different sectors of the universe, but Asked, as she works along with me.
Okay, so Ask it's still very much a part of the
Yes.
Earth project. Wow. Were you designated to work in this sector with Earth?
No, I wasn't. That was my highest joy.
Oh wow. Yes. What do you love about the human being?
Their character. Definitely their character.
Yes.
You guys are so strong. You don't even realize.
We give in a lot. We take a lot of crap. We give in a lot. We do it because we don't like conflict sometimes. We give the other person the benefit of the doubt. We it's a very interesting dance. Very playful at times, very destructive at times. And we go to dark places sometimes to we sometimes have to hit rock bottom to start to see the light again, to climb toward the light. Um, it's very interesting, very, very fascinating, this universe. And I know it's the physics are different in different parts of the universe.
And you would think that for us, your planet, it's one of the most interesting things in the universe, especially at the time that is right now.
Yeah, what's drawing all these beings from different parts of the sector of the universe? What's really drawing them here?
Well, you're about to make a quantum jump into densities,
Yes.
and this doesn't happen very often. And for many timelines, this wasn't even part of the reality. So we kept this timeline going, and it's finally happening. So, you know, beings from all over the universe are like waiting for this great movie scene to happen. and it's like it's like this excitement. It's like you're watching a movie and there's this part that you know that something's going to happen, something great. This superhero is going to come and save the world, or and then you're just waiting for it to happen, and it just So and everybody comes up, and this is the new hot thing, and everybody's is there's a lot of observers,
Yes.
just very neutral, and they just enjoying the show, as she would
Yes.
say. But there's also a lot of beings and races that are benefiting from it. You have your hybridization program that's bringing along new information, new forms of life that represents the evolution for all of us, and integration.
Yes, I want to ask, expand on that. Go ahead, finish.
Integration, in a sense, integration of DNAs, integration into more love, integration into new forms of life, um, that brings all kinds of interest into for different races, for new learnings, for new points of view, for new expressions of source, for new experiences. So we're integrating a part of ourselves into your DNA so we can evolve and experience a different point of view.
As we evolve in the next, a good couple more decades down the road, will, like you said, probably in the next 50 years, but as we are evolving and as the earth is changing and being more accepting of other races actually coming down and landing, um, will there be a possibility that the humans will eventually be able to shake hands face to face with the Pleiadians, with you guys?
Oh yeah, definitely. And we're very excited for that. We
I
just
am
can't
too.
wait.
I'm so excited, but 50 years to the average human, that's a long, long time. But you're right. Thanks. So much has to shift and change in consciousness as people are don't fear it. It seems like those in the religious communities, they're going to have the hardest time with this. Why is that?
I believe there's a lot of change in the religious community. I believe that people are expanding more, and they're opening more to the idea of, um, first of all, self-love and appreciation, instead of a god for admiration
Worship.
and worship.
Yes, worship.
Thank you. And I see it happening. I see it happening in a lot of places. Um, there's still some, the extremists, and yeah, they might have a hard time. But I think there's a lot of people that are fed up with religion, and that's a good thing, because
They
they're
start to
gonna they're gonna
question
be open to,
themselves.
yes, they're gonna be
Yes. They look
opening
within.
to what's happening, and the more you share your light as a light worker,
Yes.
the more they're willing to take in.
Yes. Yes. That's the thing, is going into the self-appreciation. You're right. It starts with not judging ourselves so strongly, so harshly over this, that everyone has to be right. It's a temperaments. It's where you can acknowledge the other religions and not fight against it and push against it. It's just an acceptance. You're right. It's just the allowance. And
But
when
the
you
base
don't,
for every religion,
yes,
it's love, as the base of every creation in the universe.
yes,
It's
yes,
the interpretation
is
and
what, yes.
of that religion that confuses the
And
human
wars
being.
are fought over that sometimes. And wars are fought over that sometimes, just because of the language barriers. Different words are used, and people take offense to these things.
Yeah, and You know, the Earth is not the only place that has had wars before or currently. Um,
Tell me about air.
we had some wars
On
with
Era.
on Era, yes, and other planets of the Pleiades too. Yeah, we had.
Well,
Era
yeah, tell me
is
about it.
I believe is 3 times or 4 times the size of Earth. Um, the sky is purple.
Wow.
It's a beautiful purple sky, and you have cities, but most of the people live, very separate from each other. And you have it's kind of similar to Earth, where you have your trees and your
Na-
lakes.
Nature.
There's
Yes.
water, there's nature. Most of our houses are made out of crystal.
Wow.
Yes.
I know there was more crystalline structures on this planet at one time on top of the outside surface of the Earth, but I've seen now down in the what we call the Mexico, Peru, they have the crystal caverns. So a lot of the crystals through time went down. What you call swallowed up or whatever the eons. Now the crystals are in the ground.
Yeah, and you'll see more of them in the times of Memoria.
Yes.
It's, in fact, that's how they built out their civilization underground through crystals.
Wow. And on Era, Um, is that where you were born on or born from?
Yes.
Wow. Many years ago. Wow. Your evolution. Semyazi, it's so wonderful. It's like when we look up at the night sky and we look at the stars at night and um, we see the Pleiades, we see the Pleiadians, we see Orion's belt. We look toward that direction. What's so amazing is we actually what we're looking at is our past. It's like the light, thousands of years have gone by when we look. So what's amazing is if you're standing on Era and you're looking toward Earth, you would view it as your past also, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Fascinating. So that's why it's in the moment. Wherever you are, it's always in the moment. So in time, I can see from that perspective, doesn't really exist. It's just where you're at any given moment.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's what connects you to experience the highest form of source and light, staying in the now.
Yes. It's your joy. It's your excitement with having even in spite of fear, but yes, as we evolve as humans, the fear slowly starts to fade away. You always have doubts and disagreements, but yet there's more of an understanding. Now I understand why the races are helping us maybe evolve our telepathy and why that's going to be the strongest that will give us such a greater understanding of the universe and for each other is through telepathy.
You have to understand that fear is an illusion created by the mind. Um, Developing your telepathy would only allow for, let's say, for lack of a better word, transparency. Let's say interconnection with the rest of the collective, where there's no space for doubt, for fear, for hate, because everybody will be one consciousness. Everybody will be interconnected.
Right, they can
No space
instantly
for
feel.
light. There's no
Yes, you
space
feel.
for, for all those negative emotions or thoughts.
Right. I feel a big need for that, like what I'm saying, not just for myself, but for the rest of humanity to let go of, because once you can really feel the other person and see who they truly are, a part of a reflection of us, it's like really you're dropping the judgments. You're instantly knowing and feeling their emotions from a different perspective, and you can allow yourself to let go of judgments. And it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
but this could also be a conflict, and that's why, you know, telepathy is being worked on the people that ask for it or they're ready for it, because you have to be committed to the unconditional source of love and unconditional truth to yourself.
So
You
it takes
can't
on.
force that into somebody that's not ready to let go of the fear, to let go of the attachment, because
Right.
it creates conflict into their free will.
I see what you're saying, the free will choice on the planet. Right. So the way it was structured on this world was the free will has to be respected and honored at all times.
Yes.
Okay. Now I understand. So it starts on an individual basis, and as more of we're showing kind of like the examples for the rest of the collective, the rest of the people on Earth, those who are choosing more of the telepathy through the DNA strands to activate within us the remembrance of these gifts.
Yes.
um, it helps uplift the state of hope for evolution for everyone else.
Yes.
Okay.
And by, back in the 70s, we've seen the change of people, you know being more aware and awakening. We've
Yes.
seen it happen, and we're very happy about it. You By you raising your vibration, by you creating
Are you still there? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Are you there? Adriana, can you connect? Hello, I think we just lost Adriana. Hopefully we'll bring her back here. Bear with me. Um, let's see here. She's saying something happened to her electricity. See if she can jump back on. Can she jump back on? Let's see here. Give her the. Okay. See if she can jump back on. Are you there? There you are. Oh, waiting for Adriana to reconnect with us. Bear with us, my friends. This is live, and we are talking with Samy and trying to get her back on. So she'll try to connect over the phone. So she should be back in a second here. So we are discussing about vibration, and they're giving us a perfect example of that. So how one can be in one dimension and the other shifts to another. This is pretty cool. So she should be joining us here on her phone pretty soon. Hope you guys are enjoying this. This is really cool.
Hello.
Hello, there you are. We're still live.
Oh, sorry. Wow. Something happened with my electricity. Why my camera looks like this?
That's cool feel. It's a cool look.
I don't, oh, look at this. Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, something happened. I don't have electricity. I'm
That's
not
cool.
sure.
That was cool that we're talking about vibration, how we can shift. You know what I mean?
And now you're cutting off. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened.
It's okay. I can still.
Brian, I can't hear you.
Is it your speaker?
It looks like it's cutting off.
Okay. I don't know.
I was doing so good. No.
Here.
It's like it's cutting off. I don't know if it's a connection. I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me okay?
Now I can. Yeah.
Now you can? Okay. It's something with mine probably. So probably have to hold it. No, it's all good though. But Samy was talking about vibration, and then it just cut out.
Vibration.
Yeah. It was very interesting. She was talking about vibration, and then it just cut out.
Oh.
But you can hear me okay, right?
So.
Okay.
Like sometimes it cuts off, and sometimes it's okay.
Is it okay now? Still choppy?
It's better. It's better. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I was too close to the mic.
I don't know. I'm still out of it. I wonder what happened. Anyways.
Anyway, that's fine. We can just bring you back and talk for a little bit.
Yeah, if the connection works fine. Yeah.
No, it was really good. So what she had to say was really good. And I can definitely tell there's a switch where you're allowing her more there, to speak through you. So this is beautiful.
That's great.
You're doing it. You're actually, yes, it's channeling. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm so glad that you have more practice with other people because it gives you a variety, and it's so nice because it's giving you so much confirmation,
Well, this is the first time I actually channeled her for a long time and giving her actually. Yeah, this is the first time that was like in-depth information. Most of the time it's messages and but this was more in-depth. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you're coming through very clear. I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, that's good. It's really good. So yeah, and then I felt some like my eyes, I mean, they were closed, and sometimes when I have my eyes closed,
yes,
I have like tons of thoughts, images, and this happens sometimes when I'm not channeling, but when I'm talking telepathically with other beings. They present themselves and as images or sounds. I get like lots of visuals in my head while I have my eyes closed. And this time it was dark, like pitch black, and then I started seeing like the cosmos and like there were colors, but it
Yes.
was like very subtle. So it was very interesting that I wasn't like jumping all over the place or having like crazy. It was just like very relaxed, um, kind of state of being.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
She's very loving.
Yes, I could feel that. It's more of an acceptance, how she's working with you. And do you feel like those images, you feel when you keep your eyes closed, you can focus more on allowing her through?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
At least on the words, like I can still hear the words, and but this time I felt like I was just allowing her to speak with like no filter, because sometimes I question it.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I see what you're saying when questioning. You're like, when I, like people ask a question, you're thinking how you want to say it. But when you get out of your way or get out of your mind and just
Hmm.
allow just whatever says to happen, to say it, allow it to, however
Hmm.
Yazi wants to use your voice box and how to say it. It's beautiful
Yep.
because you really are. You're allowing that energy to speak through you.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a while because I know she was there, and she's like, I'm here,"
She's
and
just
I'm
wet.
like,
Yes.
at the very beginning, and I'm like, okay,
But
I'm
now,
just gonna start.
the more you practice of people asking questions and you would just allowing it, you're there. You're right. When she's there, she's letting you know. I guess that's her cue. Yeah. They're saying,
Yeah.
hey, Adriana.
No, I felt it too. I felt that
Yes.
she was like, my experience, at least for this time, it's like I felt like her body was coming up, like in my, like aligning with
Yes.
my body or chakra or something. But I felt an energy coming through, and I when I felt it in my heart, and then my heart started racing, and I'm like, okay, she's here.
Yeah. No, the message is beautiful. Um, Touch on different subjects, and it's really nice because you're allowing it, and there's just maybe that slight, hmm, should I start to go public now? It's,
Not really.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, are you ready for that? If not, that's fine. It's in your own time. But the more you practice like this,
Yes.
it's nice. It's that confidence too,
Yeah, and I didn't remember all of it that she said, but there's some parts that she wanted to be more technical, and I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, because they're using your mind too on you can only use
Yes.
so many words in the vocabulary. But no, your vocabulary is brilliant. I mean, you have so much of it.
So,
It
so
flowed.
then the other thing that I I had the intention for her to do it in English, or like kind of explain it in English, so it's easier for me to deliver it.
Yes.
But sometimes I feel like it might be better in Spanish.
There you go. Yeah. Yes.
I have to try it out to see, because I'm in a stage where I don't speak perfect English, but I also don't speak perfect Spanish. I forgot about it.
No,
So I'm gonna create my own language.
yeah, there you go. Your English comes through very well. I mean, I understand everything you're saying. It flows, and for
That's good.
those, yeah, and if you ever wanted, like you said before, set something up with where you could just speak all Spanish, and then have like Matsura or what Sabrina to translate or something. You know what I mean? That would be cool.
That could be cool too. We can
Yeah,
try that out
try that.
when we do the channeling class, like in
Yes,
our get together.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Is there
Hmm.
anything else you want to share? Anything that you want to share, like your feelings on it? Like, what was your experience, as you said, when she was coming through you, or
She was
alignment?
very grounding. That
Yeah.
was the first initial thing I felt. But she was also very loving, and that's one of the things I'm trying to transform myself, where I can be, I care a lot for people, and I am very loving as a person, but I tend to be very like structure and like this, and she's, you know, like she was like, I think pushing that out of me, like you let go, don't be as rigid.
Yes.
That's the word. So yeah, I felt that too. Like I felt at ease. I felt I wouldn't say like confident, but there was something in there. Like there's a connection in there. So that made me a little bit more confident and happy that something was happening.
Well, this is cool. This is nice that it's recorded because you can go back through this and see, okay, how to view it. Maybe you don't like to view yourself. Who knows?
No, I don't. No.
But it's wonderful because it's like a self reflection, you know.
Maybe I'll watch it. I don't know.
But it's nice.
Maybe I'll practice more. That I will promise that I'll practice more.
Yeah, and if there's times down the road that you would like to do this, I'm always open to do this, so you can get that practice and then let go more. And so yeah,
You know, at some point I felt like you were surrounded by your guides. I couldn't really tell where they were from, but I felt like their energy, like they were just standing behind you, right? I was gonna say something,
yeah,
but you know, she was talking and she kind of like reaffirmed, like, yes, he is with some people in there. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. That's another
Mhm.
thing is when people come out of that state. Okay,
You're cutting off.
okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
When people come out of that state of channeling, it's really interesting to hear um, behind the scenes like what we're feeling inside. What goes through. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, Brian, you're cutting off again.
Oh, I am? Yeah, well,
Let me see if I can move this
is that
something.
better now? That now?
It's getting better.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. What I was saying, it's kind of nice that when you come out of the channeling state, how you can talk about what's going on inside of you. You know what I mean? Like what happened
Yeah.
transitioning.
Well, yeah. I mean, since coming out of my channeling state was so crazy, I came back and I'm like, what happened? Something happened. But after, yeah, like, you know, after a couple of seconds, I'm like, okay, I'm back.
Do you feel that?
What? Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
Is
that's
that better?
better. What
Okay, much
happened?
better. Yes, they actually did this by themselves. I didn't touch any buttons.
What do you mean they?
Um, well,
Whoever they are, right?
yes, I didn't touch
Oh,
anything. They fixed it for me.
that's
Believe it or
awesome.
not. They just knocked it off, knocked me out. I didn't touch a button or leave, and they just brought me back.
Thank you.
Yes. Now there's two of me.
I know. There's one that's like frozen, and then now I can see you moving.
And I can kind of look like him.
Mhm.
Get the head tilt.
That's funny. Now somebody left.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, the connection on my end, I just have to get a little bit better connection. So, but
And I'm just on the phone, so
oh, that's
until
cool.
the lights come back on, I don't know when that's gonna happen.
So, you got your electricity back?
Nope,
Oh, not yet.
nope.
Interesting.
I checked the breakers, but nothing. I don't know what happened.
That's cool. Yeah, we can wrap it up however you want to do, or just talk about anything else. I don't know.
You were saying something before you left.
Oh, how the energy when you come out of a state of channeling, it's neat to know like behind the scenes your feelings, the visions, what you see in the channeling state. So thank you for sharing that. You were telling me you're more centered. You felt a loving connection. You're more grounded,
Mm-hmm.
and it
Yeah.
allows you to feel like, okay, I can let go more.
Yeah. And also, that was most of the time I had like this blank on my visions, but I did get some visions of when I think she was describing Era. So
Yes.
I got the vision from it too. And then when she was talking about the ships, I got the vision from it also, and the motherships. So I did see some of that stuff that she was talking about.
Wow. So you do get to see those. Wow,
Hmm.
that's interesting. So the more in depth, I have to keep that in mind. So the more in depth that I go, you'll get to see it from your perspective. That's beautiful.
I feel like that's a way, and I'm guessing because I'm so visual, but that's a way to better understand what she was communicating
Mhm.
by showing it to.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Yeah, so I did get to see some.
Is there anything else that you would like to share that you feel that you've been wanting to share but you haven't yet?
That I love you so much.
Oh, me?
You and the rest of people that might be watching it, because I know that's going to happen.
Yes, thank you. And down the road, like you said, you're going to have to, if you want to, it's always up to you, um, have to, how do you say, add accessions to the hukalo, what you call, you know how you have a section for Jim?
Oh yeah, for
Session.
Jim and then
Yes. And Kim, you'll have to add
I
when
don't
you're
know.
maybe
Maybe I don't know. Maybe down the road. I mean, how many months did it take Kim to do that?
a long
Like,
time.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
just starting. I'm like a little bird. I need to get my wings out slowly.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's like it's a love, it's a hobby, that's something that you have, you've been connected with since you were younger, and you have your business, you have what you want to do as a designer, clothing designer, and
Hmm.
what's really neat is how just by you being you and the people that you meet on the street and the people that you talk through your profession and things that you like to talk about, it's neat how you can plant the seeds in a way. You can mention something. If you hear something, people talk about their stories, about what's going on in their life. You can, you're there to be the observer, but you can also, mm, it's kind of nice where you can just plant little seeds sometimes, like just drop them a hint, like you're interested in this too.
Right. Well, I do
You're open.
that. I do that with my family, with my close friends.
Yeah, yeah,
I've learned to talk about it when I feel that it's the right time. Sometimes you can't really push it too much on people.
right, right.
Uh, uh, some people are not even ready to talk about this subject. So whenever I feel like, okay, this person might be open, I do it. And I've been very impressed with, even my closest family and my friends that, they shift too. And I know because as I'm shifting, I'm creating that for myself.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, usually, the way I feel I can help more, it's through that. My joy right now is that project, the clothing line,
Yes,
with her, and yeah, and of course I would want to channel her, but she's not the only one that's around. I
yeah.
know. Um, so I'm excited to see who else can come through.
I'm excited too because I that's one of my highest excitements is to see to
Who
feel.
else I can connect to? That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And Simyazi's definitely one of them because she's been around for a long time.
She has. Yeah.
I didn't realize that their civilization lives a long, long time.
What did she say? 2,000 years?
Yeah, on average, I think it was the average.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
That's.
the tall blondes, the Nordics.
But she is like a tall blonde. Well, she's a tall blonde. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
She is. And
Yeah, and I think I had a vision of her too, which
Yes.
is, I've had it before, but this one was very bright.
The other ones around you. Would you like to talk about them a little bit? Your connections with them?
Yeah. My Pleiadian family, it's always around or visiting. Um, my Pleiadian self's name is Arek, and she has two daughters, and their name is Maya, and the other name is Alanis. And she has a husband. The husband's name is Malbec, and I've been visiting them, for a couple of months now. So it's nice to have like a family just to refer back to in
Yes.
Pleiades. Um, Very, very loving. And, I've got to share with them some of the experience of like actually living in Era
Yes.
and like the family and how they are with each other. Um, Very interesting. And um, I'm not sure if it's a reptilian. I don't think it's a reptilian. No, it's a blue Pleiadian.
Okay.
But she has like purple skin,
Wow.
bluish purple skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And her name is Ruth. And I got the confirmation that she's my appointed healer. So
Oh wow.
I saw her once with my eyes open.
Yes.
Um, and that's why I said she looked kind of purple. And her eyes were like aqua green in a
Wow.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful, very beautiful. But I thought, I don't know why I got it confused with the reptilians from Capella because their eyes are kind of similar. Um, so I thought she was a reptilian, but she's a Pleiadian, and she was actually teaching me how to do healing on myself with my hands
Yes. Yes.
that one time. And she's been there. I try to practice with her almost every night, and I do just exercises, whatever she tells me or whatever I feel like, putting my hands on or crystals. So she's there doing that part.
Wow.
I don't. I mean, I've talked to Yael people. Um, I don't, and so most of the time, at the very beginning, I was always concerned about getting names and like where you're from.
Right.
And right now, I mostly get the messages. I can sense where they're from because of the energy, but I don't have to ask like what's your name or anything. And most of the time, I don't even remember the name, just a message.
Yes.
So from time to time, I've seen reptilian. I mean, I've seen like those negative energies. Really don't want to get into it, but I've seen
Sure.
pretty much
Everything.
embrace everything. Yeah, everything.
Yes.
Um, and I've also, and then on the other side, I saw Takea once. I had a conversation with her. She's very beautiful, very loving. So yeah, Lyrans and Syrians and Acturian. I had a close one with Acturians too that I actually saw them. Um, yeah, Orion ones. So pretty much like they just come and go. They say hello, they give a message and they leave. And
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm having sessions with Montserrat, she tells me I filled up the whole room with people, and I get that a lot from like if I have sessions with other channelers, they can sense the energy, and they're like, oh, you're blue create, and it's like to your left. Look at it, and I'm like, what? uh, but from time to time, I've learned to trust that they're there.
Yes.
And so, sometimes I just look at the corner and, if you're with me or my family and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing. But, inside I know that they're there and they're saying hello or just the
Yes.
energy. And so, but yeah, I'm waiting to see who comes through. I know recently found out I have a hybrid daughter. So I am looking forward to make a connection with her.
Wow.
So I know she's looking forward, and one of the things that, because that came up with Jim at a session, that she's so cute. She said like she likes my hair because she doesn't really have a lot of hair. She's a great and human, very human Pleiadian hybrid.
Okay.
So she has like she's not that tall. I think around 5 feet tall, so that probably around my height. And she doesn't have a lot of hair. They don't have a lot of hair.
Okay.
And she's like, that's a message that she gave me, that she can't wait to meet me, and then she loves my hair. I think she's around 4 years old, 3, 4 years old. So yeah.
That's interesting.
Very interesting, huh?
Did she have that name, or did you get to name her?
No, this is a very funny story. I have been listening to the name Mia for the last month and a half. And I actually am like, why Mia? And I'm like, well, Mia is really a cute name. So, and I can show you in my iPhone, I just made a list of possible baby names, and Mia was definitely at the top. I'm like, I don't know why is this name in my head, but it's very cute.
Right.
So I had that session with Jim. Oops, sorry. I had that session with Jim, and I mentioned it. For some reason, like that name, it's like in my head all the time. What is it?
That's the
and then that was the answer. Like, no, that's your hybrid daughter. And I'm like, that's so funny. That is so funny. Yeah.
Mia.
Mia.
I'm wondering if it's a part of the the seven sisters in the Pleiades. You know how the how they're named, like what was the name of it? Alcyon is one of it.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah.
Maya. It's
maybe
one
it's
of
Maya.
Maya. Yeah. Yeah, it's Maya. No, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very.
You almost say some of those names sound Native American.
They are. I mean, I'm surprised. Every time like you hear a channel, like, oh, this is Peter, and you're like, what? You're expecting like, like some crazy name from another constellation, and then you hear like the most common name, Michelle. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, but maybe we take those names from them.
Oh yeah, because we pick them up in the consciousness. Yeah.
Maybe it's just in there,
Who
knows?
Well, I was gonna say this is beautiful. I'm just so happy to be able to do this, to have this conversation, because it's confirmation on so many levels. For so many people out there, who are just open to this, and the messages will touch them on different levels, and I think it's wonderful. So thank you for sharing all this.
This is gonna go public, right?
It's totally up to you. It's totally
okay.
Because I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't post it. I would rather prefer you watch it first, and because I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. And if you, and I'm serious, if you feel that it's not really meant to be public, we can erase it.
Okay.
And delete it.
Sounds good.
It's totally good, because I want you to enjoy it first, and this is your stage, your presentation. And if you feel that it's not up to par, or whatever your expectation, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We can always delete it. So now I don't know if it'll be posted somewhere else on the YouTube, but I don't know if it'll go public. I don't know yet. So once I stop this, so I'm not sure. So.
Well, I don't. I'll feel comfortable sharing it with the Hucola community, because I know we're growing, expanding, and it might help someone in there. So
yes, that's what I was
definitely post it. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I would let wherever you want to post it. It's yours. I won't post it anywhere until you make that decision.
Okay.
I give you the power.
Yay!
Like She-Ra, I have the power. That's cool.
Who?
She-Ra.
Who's She-Ra?
Have you heard of She-Ra? Like He-Man and the cartoons long ago in the 80s? They had these cartoons that used to be on back in the 80s. And it was
I was born in
okay.
late 80s.
You have to Google that sometime. But there's
I will.
She-Ra and He-Man. It's really cool.
Okay,
All right. So
I will.
we'll go ahead. You want to wrap this up then?
Um,
Is there anything?
well, thank you everyone for watching. This is my very first public challenge session, and I hope you can enjoy it and feel the love that I felt through Symbiose. And if it helps with anything, I'm very happy that to be here, to be at service, like she said.
Yes. Thank you everyone for watching, and let's leave it at that. And I wanted to thank Adriana for her time, and just to be open for those who are out there in this message, and just take what you need. And if it resonates with you, that's wonderful. If not, just leave it behind. But it's whatever resonates with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.